At 9:17 on the morning of February 27, a single directive from the Oval Office rippled through every agency in Washington. President Trump ordered the entire federal government to immediately stop using Claude, the artificial intelligence built by Anthropic. He called the company a radical left organization run by people who have no idea what the real world is all about. Within minutes, the executive order landed on the desks of Pentagon officials, intelligence analysts, and military commanders who had spent the past year weaving Claude into their most sensitive operations. The ban was absolute, the language was furious, and the message was clear. Anthropic was done. But 7 hours later, as the first cruise missiles arced toward Iranian airspace, the very same AI the president had just outlawed was quietly humming inside. The military's most advanced targeting system. This is the story of how a banned technology helped launch the largest American air campaign since the invasion of Iraq, how a $200 million defense contract collapsed overnight, and how the backlash turned a niche chatbot into the most downloaded app in the country. The paradox begins now. To understand how an AI chatbot ended up at the center of a geopolitical crisis, you need to go back to the beginning. Anthropic was founded in 2021 by Dario Amodei and his sister Daniela, both former executives at OpenAI who left because they believed the company was not taking safety seriously enough. Their mission was to build powerful AI that came with guardrails, models that could reason at an elite level, but would refuse to help anyone cause harm. By 2024, Claude had become the preferred tool for coders, researchers, and corporate strategists who valued depth over speed. Then came the defense pivot. In November 2024, Anthropic signed a landmark partnership with Palantir Technologies and Amazon Web Services to deploy Claude on classified government networks. 7 months later, in July 2025, the company won a contract worth up to $200 million from the Department of Defense. Claude would serve as the reasoning engine inside the Maven Smart System, a Palantir-built platform that fuses satellite imagery, signals, intelligence, and human reports into a single operational picture. The deal signaled that even the most safety-conscious AI lab in the world believed national defense was a legitimate use of its technology. The first crack appeared in January 2026, when American Special Operations Forces launched a daring raid into Caracas to capture Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. The operation succeeded, but leaked. Documents revealed that Claude had played a critical role. The AI had processed surveillance data, modeled possible escape routes, and helped commanders simulate multiple raid scenarios before selecting the final plan. Anthropic was blindsided. The company's terms of service explicitly prohibited using Claude for violent operations, weapons development, or mass surveillance. Dario Amodei fired off a letter to the Pentagon, demanding an explanation and insisting on new restrictions. The Defense Department pushed back hard. Secretary Pete Hegseth argued that in a theater of war, the military could not afford to have a private company, dictating what it could and could not do with a tool it had already paid for. Negotiations dragged on for weeks, growing more hostile with each round. Hegseth publicly accused Anthropic of arrogance and betrayal, writing on X that America's warfighters will never be held hostage by the ideological whims of big tech. Behind closed doors, the Pentagon began quietly exploring replacements from OpenAI, Google, and Elon Musk's xAI. The stage was set for a very public divorce. On the morning of February 27, Trump escalated the dispute from a bureaucratic disagreement into a full political war. In a blistering post on Truth Social, he called Anthropic a threat to national security and accused its leadership of trying to sabotage American military operations. He ordered every federal agency, not just the Pentagon, to immediately cease all use of Anthropic products. Defense Secretary Hegseth followed up by formally designating Anthropic as a supply chain risk, a classification that bars every defense contractor in the country from incorporating the company's technology into any government project. The designation was unprecedented. No major American technology company had ever been labeled a supply chain risk by the Defense Department over a policy disagreement. Hegseth acknowledged the difficulty of the transition, granting Anthropic a 6-month wind-down period so that military systems could be migrated to alternative platforms without disrupting active operations. But the damage to Anthropic's defense ambitions was immediate and potentially irreversible. Within hours of the announcement, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman revealed that his company had already reached an agreement with the Pentagon to deploy ChatGPT on classified networks. Elon Musk's xAI signed a similar deal the same week. Anthropic had just lost its most powerful customer. 7 hours after the ban was signed, Operation Epic Fury began. A joint American and Israeli strike force launched the largest coordinated air campaign against Iran in history. Cruise missiles, stealth bombers, and drone swarms hit targets across the country in wave after wave of precision strikes designed to dismantle Iran's military infrastructure. At the heart of the operation was the Maven Smart System. Running on Palantir's platform and embedded inside Maven was Claude. According to the Washington Post, the AI processed data from 179 separate intelligence sources, including satellite imagery, intercepted communications, and human intelligence reports. In the first 24 hours alone, Maven, powered by Claude, identified and prioritized over 1,000 individual targets, issuing precise coordinates and ranking each one by strategic importance. The system reduced what would normally take weeks of battle planning into real-time targeting, giving Iranian forces almost no time to relocate or respond. Military commanders told reporters that removing Claude from the system mid-operation was simply not an option. One senior official put it bluntly, whether his morals are right or wrong, "We are not going to let his decision-making cost a single American life." The AI that was banned at breakfast was directing strikes by dinner. While missiles were falling on Iran, something extraordinary was happening in the consumer market. On February 28, the day after the ban, Claude recorded 503,424 downloads in a single day, the highest figure in the app's history. By Saturday evening, it had surged from number 42 on Apple's free app chart all the way to number 1, overtaking ChatGPT for the first time ever. The public was not punishing Anthropic for defying the president. They were rewarding the company for standing up to the Pentagon. Anthropic reported that free user registrations had jumped more than 60% since January, with daily sign-ups quadrupling compared to the previous month, and breaking all-time records every single day that week. Paid subscribers more than doubled in the same period. Then pop star Katy added fuel to the fire. She posted a screenshot of her Claude Pro subscription on X with a red heart drawn over it, a gesture widely interpreted as solidarity with the company. The post went viral and triggered another wave of downloads. Protesters gathered outside OpenAI's San Francisco headquarters, accusing Sam Altman of profiting from war. By rushing to fill the Pentagon contract, Anthropic had lost. A company that had just been blacklisted by the most powerful government on Earth was suddenly more popular than ever. The Claude paradox reveals a fracture that runs through the entire artificial intelligence industry. A single company built a tool so powerful that the world's strongest military could not go to war without it, and so controversial that the president banned it on the same day it was used to bomb another country. Anthropic now faces a future without its largest government customer, but with a consumer base that has never been larger or more loyal. The $200 million defense contract is effectively dead, yet the company's commercial momentum has never been stronger. Meanwhile, the Pentagon is scrambling to replace a system that over 20,000 military personnel rely on every day, a system that a Georgetown University study found allowed one artillery unit of 20 people to do the work of 2,000. The deeper question is whether any private company should have the power to set the rules of engagement in war, and whether any government should have the power to force a company to ignore its own safety principles. That tension is not going away. As AI becomes more capable, the line between civilian technology and military weapon will only get blurrier. The next time you open an app on your phone, remember that the same intelligence behind it may also be choosing targets on a battlefield half a world away. If this story made you think, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss what comes next.